projectiles, sniper's mark, return projectiles, high base damage, and add to the mix Pathfinder. And of course, I made the build tanky as possible. What's up guys, Bridget here. I'm talking about Splitting Steel Poison Pathfinder. This is my own version of the reworked Splitting Steel. Also, I'm very surprised I did not find anyone playing this version. Even on POE Ninja, there was none of this version. I'm still working on it, but the result is already amazing. Splitting Steel. Fire projectile that will splits on impact towards the enemy and the default split is 5. This is where our base damage is coming from. We're using Sniper's Mag to increase the split numbers up to 9 and using an additional projectile from the tree, so our base split is right now 10. We're adding return projectiles so all the splitted projectiles return to us, making an extremely high base damage skill. We're adding to the mix poison, and I think if the PoB is correct, we already poison capped on normal bosses, which is 35 billion damage per second after the 6 second ramp time. On UBers with this setup I calculated around 15 million damage per second, which is pretty good if we're talking about UBers. The damage is coming from the all projectiles. Of course, I don't think you can position yourself to all the projectile return to you, but even if just half is hitting, it's still pretty good, but from my testing you can find the sweet spot for it. The weapon we're using is a pretty interesting one, because we're using a Javelin foil with high attack speed, fizz, and the most important, poison chance on the weapon, because otherwise we can't cap our poison chance. Also we need to craft hits cannot be evaded, but here is a big but. You can just use attack speed and poison chance on the weapon and craft hits cannot be evaded, and you almost poison capped on normal content. I bought a weapon for 5C and crafted hits cannot be evaded, and you good to go. With this high investment, you can almost beat any content in the game. So the damage with this really cheap weapon is around 33 million, on UBers is almost 10 million. I know what you think, the other gear is super expensive as well. Well, not even close. I don't like to speak about prices in my builds, because I can proudly say, when I make a video about cheap items, well, they not cheap anymore. For this gear, maybe the cluster is the most expensive, around 3 divine for one and 3 for another one. So 6 divine. Also keep in mind, when I bought this Javelin, that was the first week of the league, so the prices was normal, not these inflated prices. I put together 2 PoB. One with level 92 with a super cheap weapon that you saw earlier. Also include many links to it so you can use it. What you see in this video, I'm using the higher budget version. Also you can craft the gear very easily, so don't buy the overpriced gear. But from my testing, you can also do any non-Uber content with the cheaper version. On the other hand, the expensive version, any Uber content is a breeze. You also don't need much more investment for it. Only the weapon is expensive to make, but also depends on your luck. I crafted this bad boy right here, around 4 divine worth of essences, then 2 divine for the multi-mod and few chaos for the other crafted mods. In this version the gear is also very easy to make if you use fractured base. You only need to worry about the chaos resistance, because Pathfinder will cover your resistance from the flasks. The mopping is also very good. You have PS for the projectiles, also poison prolife from Pathfinder. The AoE from the explosions will take care of the pack of monsters, so the normal mopping is super fast and fun. Before you make comment about nimis, yes, you can use in the build. Just switch out the Minx Heart and you need to fix your chaos resistance, and you can do Ubers with it easily. Your damage will be very high. I just ran an Uber Shaper with it and the damage is outstanding. Who would think a 46 divine ring will make your build better? The guide for this build will come hopefully on Friday. The reason is for this, because I have really big problems in my real life. Just the worst nightmare that can happen for a person. My mother was diagnosed with cancer, and sadly, first stadium cancer. The doctors got in very late. So I hope you guys understand, I can't pump out 3 videos in a week. Also wanted to push out the build because I don't want another build tap accident. This build is surprised me because I did not wanted to make this build, because I thought others done it and made videos about it, but in the reality there was none who done this version. You can find similar version on POE Ninja, but I checked them all and all was, I don't know the words for it. I don't want to call bad builds, more like experimental builds. Yeah, that's the words. For now, this is the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any question, please leave a comment below. Also, I would like to say thank you for my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks again guys. Thanks for watching. I was Bridget. See you next time.